Once upon a time, in a faraway land where rice fields stretched like emerald seas and bamboo groves whispered in the wind, there lived a gentle young girl named Tam. Her life had not been easy. Her mother had passed away when she was still small, and though her father loved her dearly, time brought another sorrow. He remarried a woman with a daughter of her own named Cam. For a while, it seemed that Tam's father's love could shield her from the sharpness of her stepmother's tongue. But fate was unkind, and before long, her father fell ill and passed away too, leaving Tam to the mercy of her stepmother and her stepsister. The stepmother was harsh, her heart filled with envy and bitterness. She favored her daughter Cam in every way, letting her play idly in the sunshine while forcing Tam to shoulder all the chores, sweeping floors, gathering firewood, pounding rice, fetching water, cooking meals every day. Tam bent her back beneath the weight of labor. Her only companions, the chirping crickets in the fields and the quiet moon at night. And yet, she remained gentle, never raising her voice in anger. Her kindness was like a quiet flame, small but steady, refusing to die out. One summer morning, the stepmother gave an order that sounded like a game but carried a cruel edge. Go to the river. Both of you, whoever catches more fish shall earn a reward. Excited, the girls set off. Tam, though weary, listened to her mother's words and worked carefully. She waded into the water, scooping fish with skill and patience, until her basket brimmed with silver flashes. Meanwhile, Cam wandered, splashing lazily, playing with her reflection in the water. Hours passed, and she had not caught even one. As the sun began to sink lower, Cam's eyes glittered with envy. She called sweetly, "Sister Tam, your hair is so dusty. Why don't you dip into the river and wash it before Mother scolds?" Trusting her sister, Tam set her basket down on the bank and slipped into the water to rinse her hair. While she bathed, Cam quickly dumped all the fish from Tam's basket into her own and hurried home, leaving Tam with nothing. When Tam climbed out, her basket was empty. She dropped to her knees, tears falling like pearls into the river. It was then that a gentle voice broke through her sobs. An old man with kind eyes and a long white beard appeared beside her. It was the spirit of the banyan tree, whom people called But. "Why do you cry, child?" he asked. Through hiccups, Tam told him what had happened. But stroked his beard thoughtfully, then pointed to the basket. "Look closely. Is there nothing left inside?" Tam peered through her tears and gasped. At the bottom wriggled a single tiny fish, golden and bright-eyed. "Take this fish home," but said, "place it in the well and feed it each day with rice. Call to it with these words, 'Little fish, come and eat. Golden rice is your special treat. Eat from me, not from others' hands. Stay with me as long as you can. It will be your friend.'" Then he vanished, leaving the air warm with kindness. From that day, Tam cared for the fish tenderly. Every meal, she saved half her portion to feed it, whispering the words but had taught her. The fish grew quickly, shining like a jewel in the dark water, and it leapt joyfully whenever it heard her voice. But the stepmother noticed how often Tam lingered by the well. Suspicion crept into her mind. She sent Cam to spy, and soon the secret was revealed. The very next morning, She ordered Tam to herd buffalo in distant fields. While Tam was away, she and Cam mimicked Tam's voice, calling to the fish. When the trusting creature surfaced, they caught it and cooked it for supper. That evening, when Tam returned and called to her friend, the water was silent. Only a faint red stain swirled up from the bottom of the well. Tam wept bitterly, once again, by the pig. Do not grieve, child. Your friend's body is gone, but its spirit remains. Gather the bones and place them beneath the four corners of your bed. Though her heart ached, Tam obeyed. Later, she would learn that this act of faith would change her fate. Time passed, and news spread that the king was holding a great festival in the capital. People whispered that he might choose his queen among the maidens who attended. Every household bustled with preparations, except Tam's, her stepmother, not wanting her beauty to be seen, handed her a cruel task, a great basket of rice mixed with husks, to be sorted grain by grain before she could even think of going. Tam sat before the pile, her tears falling silently. Then, as always, but appeared, he clapped his hands, and suddenly a flock of sparrows swooped down, pecking and sorting until the rice lay white and clean. But Tam still wore only ragged clothes. "How can I go like this?" she whispered. "Dig beneath the corners of your bed." But said gently. Tam hurried home and unearthed the four jars. Inside, she found wonders, a gown of shimmering silk, a pair of embroidered slippers glittering like starlight, and even a horse and saddle that appeared as if by magic, clothed like a princess. Tam rode to the festival. She shone so brightly that all eyes turned to her, but she kept her veil low and slipped quietly into the crowd. On the way, however, she lost one of her slippers in the mud. Soldiers later found it and brought it to the king, who marveled at its beauty. "No foot but that of the rightful owner shall fit this shoe," he declared. All the maidens tried, but none succeeded. At last, Tam was summoned. The slipper fit her perfectly, and when she produced the second from her bundle, a great cheer rose. The king took her hand and declared her his bride. But happiness did not silence any. Tam's stepmother and Cam grew bitterer with each passing day. One year, when Tam returned to her old home for her father's memorial, the stepmother suggested sweetly, "Daughter, climb the areca tree and pick some nuts for the offering." As Tam reached the top, the woman struck the trunk with an axe. The tree crashed down, and Tam fell into the pond below, vanishing beneath the water. Quickly, the stepmother dressed Cam in Tam's clothes and sent her to the palace, claiming Tam had drowned. The king, though sorrowful, was deceived. He let Cam remain, but his heart never warmed to her. From the pond where she had fallen, Tam's spirit rose again, this time as a golden bird, singing sweet, mournful songs. It flew to the palace, perched near the king, and sang to him daily. He, comforted by its company, built it a golden cage. But Cam, consumed with jealousy, killed the bird and buried its feathers in the garden. From that place, tall trees grew, shading the king's hammock with their branches. Yet again, Cam destroyed them, having them chopped into beams for a loom. When she sat to weave, the loom cried out, "Creak, creak, creak. Your sister's husband you seek, but for your envy and your greed, You'll pay the price for this misdeed. Frightened, Cam ordered the beans burned. From the ashes grew a tree bearing a single shining fruit. One day, an old woman passed beneath that tree. She whispered softly, "Fruit, oh fruit, if you fall into my bag, I will treasure you. I will not eat you." At once, the fruit dropped into her basket. She carried it home and laid it gently on her bed. Each day, when she went to the market, she returned to find her house clean, meals cooked, and better leaves neatly prepared. Curious, she pretended to leave but came back quietly, peering inside. She saw the fruit split open and a young woman step out. It was Tam, alive again. Overjoyed, the old woman embraced her and asked her to stay as her daughter. One day, the king came by, stopping at the old woman's stall. He chewed the betel she offered and noticed how perfectly it was folded, just as Tam had once done. "Who prepared this?" he asked. "My daughter," the woman replied. When Tam stepped forward, the king recognized her at once. Joy overcame him, and he brought her back to the palace, where she told him all that had happened. The king, enraged by the cruelty of the stepmother and Cam, wanted to punish them. But Tam, her heart still kind, pleaded for mercy. Even so, fate was not gentle. As they left the city, a storm struck, and lightning split the sky, striking the two women where they stood. At last, peace returned. Tam and the king lived together in love and harmony, their days filled with gentleness, their nights with quiet dreams, and so, dear child, this story teaches us that kindness, patience, and honesty may be tested again and again by jealousy and cruelty. But like Tam, if your heart remains pure, you will always rise again, shining brighter than before. So close your eyes now. Let the river of dreams carry you. Remember, no matter how dark things may seem, goodness will always find its way back to the light. Good night, little dreamer, sweet bird.